Hello. In this video, we'll cover an overview of Fusion Connect's Microsoft Voice Portal, also known as MVP. Within your MVP portal, you'll use a service called Operator Connect. This video will cover how to log in, how to create admin users, how to identify users and user status, meaning licensed or unlicensed, also identify resource numbers and resource number status, how to assign DIDs to a trunk and update their outbound caller ID, assign DIDs to users and also resource numbers, both individual and in bulk, how to request new DIDs, how to port them, how to create a resource account, call flows such as auto-attendants and call queues, and how to create triggers, which are notifications. The Operator Connect portal requires MFA, multi-factor authentication. So you as an administrator will need to download the Microsoft Authenticator app, either on your iPhone or on Android Google Play. The URL for Fusion's Operator Connect is uc.fusionconnect.com. Once entering this URL, you'll enter your email address of your admin credentials and your password and click Login. Once clicking Login, you'll be prompted to enter your code from your Authenticator app. So opening up your app on your iPhone or Android, the Authenticator app will provide a 6-digit number every 30 seconds. After 30 seconds is expired, it'll provide you another 6-digit code. By entering that code, you'll automatically log into your Operator Connect portal. You have options down the side that cover services, call stats, accounts, automation, billing, organizations, and telephony. You'll be at your dashboard page, the dashboard providing you the status of healthy and your sync-enabled notification that you are synced to your Operator Connect successfully. Under Accounts, you have admins, permissions, resource accounts, and users. We'll go over how to add an administrator first. You can see here I have 2 admins added to this account already, and they are actually permissions of company admin. You can see they're active, etc., with their email address correlating with the actual user for their login information. To simply add an admin, click Add Admin. Put in a name, and here under the permission, you have 2 options, Company Admin or Company Reviewer. A company reviewer is read-only access only to your Operator Connect portal. So if you want to add an admin without any privileges to change anything, read-only access, you would give them company reviewer privileges. Company admin will allow them to make changes within your Operator Connect portal. MFA authentication, it says an option here for enabled or disabled. It will not allow you to choose disabled. If you do, and you put an email address in, it will say that MFA is required. So we're going to go ahead and click Enable here. Email address, we'll enter here an email address for a test user and click Create. Now that I've created that admin, you can see here that they're created and they will receive an email. That email will look like this. An email coming from system@tcap.cloud. It'll give them the username and reset your password. After your admin is signed in for the first time, you'll see here the last time they actually have logged in, and they have logged in successfully. The company admin or view only option, you can see the permissions option here in the accounts permissions section of your portal. Here we have company reviewer, which is read only, and then company admin. If I want to see the actual company reviewer, I can view permission set by clicking the eye under actions, and it'll basically give me every option under this portal that's editable. And if I click one, you can see here, every single one is going to have read only. If I choose company admin, you can see here that some templates are read only, and then some have full access to create, read, update, and delete options within your portal under the company administrative permission. Note that once your admin has been added, they will receive an email at their admin email address. That email will allow them to not only use Microsoft Authenticator, but also Google Authenticator if they have a Google platform phone to scan and actually set up their authentication with the Microsoft or Google Authenticator app. Once they successfully do that, they will log in with their username and password, open up their Authenticator, put in the 6-digit code, and that will log them into the portal. Next, we'll cover identifying users and your user status. So for your users and user status, will actually go to users underneath accounts. Here is where all of your users from your Microsoft tenant should be listed. You can see your list of users, whether they're active, their status, and also a telephone number, whether it's assigned, not allocated, or not licensed. If a user, for example, is not licensed, in other words, if you're saying not licensed on an actual user, that means that that user within your Microsoft tenant, they do not have a license for telephony. You'll need to add a license for that user. Then it will show them as non-allocated. Not allocated means that user does not have a number affiliated or associated with them. To sync users, you can sync your users from Microsoft tenant from here. You can also update multiple users at the same time. By clicking CSV Update, you can download a template and then fill out the template with your user information, upload that template from your computer, and now those users will be uploaded into your users section of your Operator Connect portal. One of the most important things you'll want to do in your Operator Connect portal is access your numbers for Fusion to assign to users. So under telephony, you'll have numbers. Under the numbers section, it will list all of your numbers that you have with Fusion. If you want to request new numbers, you can request a new block or bring in existing numbers. We'll go over that in a bit. But the first thing I want to cover is identifying your numbers and their status. So here you can see the outbound caller ID for this number is indeed its own DID. You can also see in this portal when that number was last updated, if that number is assigned to a specific user, and this is very important, if that number is assigned to a trunk, meaning connected to your Fusion Connect service. The first thing you'll want to do once you're in your number section is to assign a number to a trunk. To do this, you'll click the edit option or icon to the right for that number. So for this number, we want to edit, it's not allocated. So it means we want to allocate it, adding it to the trunk, meaning adding this to your Fusion Connect service for billing purposes. You cannot assign a number to a user unless it is assigned to a trunk first. So now that it's assigned to a trunk, here we can choose for this DID what we want the outbound caller ID to be. You can choose from any number listed on your account, and you can also choose restricted. If you'd like to restrict that number's outbound caller ID, you can do so. So we'll just leave it at the 119 number, so its outbound caller ID will be that DID. So here you have Operator Connect calling profile, and you also have calling user assignment. So this is very important, the Operator Connect telephone number usage area. If you're assigning a number or wanting to assign a number to a user, you will use calling user assignment. If you're wanting to assign a number to an actual resource account, we'll get to that later in this video. A resource account can be like an auto-attendant, a call queue, etc. You will choose the drop-down first party app assignment. This is very important. If this number is to be used for an auto-attendant or call queue, you must choose first party app assignment for the operator telephone number usage. And again, for a user, you will use calling user assignment. So back to your Operator Connect calling profile section. Here, your drop-down will provide areas or regions within the world that your number will reside in. From this map, you can see that NORAM stands for North America, includes US, Canada, and Mexico. You also have Latin America. EMEA is for Europe, Middle East, and Africa. APAC is for Asia and the Pacific. And OCEA is for Oceania, which is Australia and New Zealand. So wherever your number resides geographically in the world, you'll pick that correlating calling profile. Seeing how this is a US-based number, we'll choose North America. If I save changes, I'm adding this trunk to this number, 119. So you can see now that 119 has a trunk assigned to it. It is pending an update. Once it's updated, the status will say OK. Once it states OK, then I can have this number assigned to a user. So now you can see the number 119, its status is OK. It's assigned to the trunk. So now I can assign this number to a user. If I want to assign a number to a resource account, I can do the same. So let's say we want to use 3122 as an auto attendant. In other words, add this number to a resource account. We'll hit its edit option. We're going to allocate it, adding it to the trunk for billing purposes. And under the telephone number usage, we're going to choose first party app assignment. The caller ID is fine. I want it to be 3122. So I'm going to click save. So now you can see 3122 is pending update. Once this number status is okay, we can assign this number to a resource account, meaning an auto attendant or call center queue. The number 122 is in a status okay. So let's go ahead and assign 119 to a user. Now that it's tied to a trunk and the status is okay, I can go back to my users section. Within my users, any user that is showing not allocated means it's ready for a number assignment. If it's again not licensed, a license will need to be added to that user within your admin center. So not allocated, I can actually edit. Let's say, let's use user 9. It's not allocated. It doesn't have a number assigned to it. So I'm going to hit the pencil edit option. And here you can see the numbers that are actually added to the trunk by it saying Operator Connect beside the number. So I'm going to choose the 119 number. I hit Save Changes, and now I've assigned that number to this user 9. Now as you can see, this state's updating. It will turn green once it's updated in your admin center, assigning this number to your user. And now you can see the status is okay. This number is assigned to your user, and it'll show the same in your Microsoft Admin Center. You don't have to assign a number to a user one at a time. You can actually do so in bulk by clicking CSV Update. Here you can download a template by clicking Download. The template will pop up. So you can see here from your template, those that are not licensed cannot have an actual number assigned to them. So Ireland has this number, this US number, these US numbers assigned to these users. So to add another number, you can manually, for these users, you can add them from the numbers list that you have already on your account, and then you can save this file on your computer. Let's just minimize. You go to your computer, choose the file, upload it, and those users will be updated with a number. So once they're added, you will sync your users. That syncs your Operator Connect to your Microsoft Admin Center. If you need new numbers, back at the number section under telephony, you can request a new block. This was stated earlier. So to request new numbers if you need them from Fusion, you'll click Request New Block. You'll put in your contact name, phone number, and your email address. The block size and the quantity is the most important. So here, block size. If I need a block of one number, and say I need 8 numbers, 9 numbers, 10 numbers, so the quantity of 1 will go up to 10. If I choose a block of 10, now I'm actually going into 20 numbers, 30 numbers, 40 numbers, 50 numbers, etc. Or you can do a block of 100 if you choose to have 200, 300, or 400, 500 numbers. So here I'm requesting a block of 100, 5 blocks, so that would equal 500 numbers to add to my account. Put in the country, the region, suburb, street, state, postal code, and any comments, and hit submit. And please note that numbers being added to your account can take up to 7 to 10 business days. If you wish to bring in existing numbers, meaning porting numbers from another carrier, you can choose Bring Existing Numbers. Here you will state your carrier name. You will upload an actual bill, a current bill or existing bill from that current carrier. Company registration number is probably your billing telephone number. This is an authorized signer's full name, their email address, and contact number. Numbers to port to and from. So here you can actually do multiple ranges if you choose to by 1, 2, or 3. Here you will check off that you require the numbers to be loaded into this portal as soon as they're being validated and ported. And any comments necessary, you will agree upon that you understand that authorizing the listing numbers will be ported on behalf of the company. And then please note that ports can take up to 20 days to process. You'll click Submit. This will start the porting process. This will be in conjunction to your LOA, Letter of Authorization, required to be filled out that your salesperson will provide you. Now that we've covered numbers and how to assign numbers to users and add new numbers, meaning request new numbers and port numbers, let's go to Resource Accounts. Resource Accounts is where you can build call flows. Resource Accounts refer to auto attendants and call queues. Once you build an auto attendant or call queue, you can assign it a number just like you can that of a user. To build an actual resource account, you'll click Builder. So here you can actually give it an account name. We'll call this auto attendant, AA, At is the builder name. Display name, we'll just call it AA for auto attendant. Time zone, let's choose Eastern Standard Time. And then language, we'll choose English, United States. So for templates, there are 4 templates you can choose when creating a call flow. A basic template basically gives you the ability to have your inbound number assigned to this call flow. It is an auto attendant. The auto attendant will have an after hours and also a business hours option. The after hours will play a message and then disconnect the call. Your business hours will have its welcome message, hit a call queue, so basically ring users assigned to that call queue, and then timeout, it will play a message and then disconnect the call. So in essence, a basic call flow is just a basic auto attendant with its business hours and after hours. A 1.5 level with 2 options. This call flow is just like before, meaning it's an auto attendant. It has an inbound number. The auto attendant has an after hours and a business hours. However, in the business hours, you can see here its welcome message gives 2 options for the caller. Press option 1 for support or sales. Press option 2 for customer service, for example. For sales, when they press 1, they can actually leave a message, or you can enter a message or a greeting to say press 1 for SD-WAN sales, press 2 for voice sales, etc. That will hit its destination numbers on each of these options to ring the associated users, SD-WAN sales and voice sales. After it times out, it will disconnect the call after playing a message. And again, you have the option 2 for customer service. The same thing here. So basically, a 1.5 level 2 option is like an enhanced auto attendant, giving you multiple layers once you hit an option. Once you hit option 1, it gives you another layer of hitting option 1 or option 2, etc. And now you have call queues. You have a queue only attendant and a queue only longest idle. So a queue only attendant is a call queue. A call queue is where a call coming in from an inbound number that you will assign, you'll hear a welcome message, and that will go to a call queue. In other words, the caller will wait in a queue and listen to a queue while the attendant's phones ring. When one of those attendants answers the phone, they'll answer. After a certain amount of time of the timeout, in other words, the caller sitting in the queue for X amount of time, it'll play a message and disconnect. A queue only with longest idle works a little differently with this queue. So again, it's a queue, inbound number, you hear a welcome message into your call center queue. Here, it will ring one person at a time, one agent at a time, rather than ringing everyone within its group. And it'll ring the agent with the longest idle. In other words, the agent that's been idle the longest, not taking a call. So an agent waiting the longest time for the next call will get the next call incoming to this queue. And again, after a timeout, it'll play a message and disconnect. So on this call flow, let's just choose a basic auto attendant. So I'm going to hit create. So now that I've created the auto attendant, you can see it here listed in your Operator Connect portal, and it's not licensed, meaning I'll have to go into my ad center to add a license to this auto attendant in order to assign it a number. This auto attendant call queue is one that was previously created, and it's not allocated, meaning it is licensed. So now let's add a number to this resource account, this auto attendant call queue. To do so, you simply click its pencil edit option. And here when it says not allocated, just like adding a number to a user, you will choose from your numbers list a number that's actually added to your trunk. So let's try 3122 for example. We actually added 3122 to the trunk with the third-party option, so we can assign this to a resource account. Hit Save Changes, and now it's adding that number to this auto attendant queue. And you again can see it's updating. Once updated, this is assigned to the queue in your admin center. And now you can see it's green, so this number is now added to this call center queue resource account within your Microsoft Admin Center. Once you're logged into your center, you will see resource accounts. The resource accounts will mirror that of what's in your Operator Connect. There's my call queue. There's the auto attendant I just added. So here is where you will go to call queues to configure this queue. To configure the queue, you click the queue name. Here, you can rename if you'd like, assign a caller ID. You can choose your language. We'll choose English United States and click Next. Here, a greeting. Do you want no greeting? If you want an audio file, you can upload your audio file. This will be your main greeting when callers call into your queue to hear your announcement. Or you can add a greeting message. If you add the greeting message, the Microsoft Teams will actually read this to your callers. Music on hold, if you'd like for it to play the standard music on hold, or if you have an audio file you'd like for it to play, you can upload that here. So from right now, just to move forward, we'll just say no greeting. And I'll hit next. Choose a team. So here's where you'll actually choose the members of the team that will be answering those calls in your auto attendant queue. Or you can actually choose a user or group. Choose next. Routing method. How do you want your calls routed? Attendant routing, serial routing, round robin, or longest idle. Call agents can opt out of taking calls as off. If you have this on, they can opt out of taking a call. And then an alert time. How long do you want that agent's phone to ring when receiving a call? It's defaulted to 30 seconds. Click Next. Call overflow handling. How many calls do you allow to sitting in your queue? You can choose up to 200. We're going to default that at 50. When a maximum number of calls is reached, what would you like to do? Have the caller disconnect or maybe redirect them somewhere else? You can do that. Maximum wait time is how long the caller will wait in your queue. So we can go 20 minutes or seconds, choose up to a maximum of 45 minutes. And when the call times out, meaning when that time expires, would you like the call to disconnect or redirect that call somewhere else? When we click submit, this call center queue is configured. Going back to your Operator Connect, you will again sync users. It will sync. Your Operator Connect is synced with your Admin Center. And now we'll move on to triggers. Triggers are notifications. Notifications that if you make a change in your Operator Connect portal, it coincides with your Admin Center and can email multiple recipients. So to create a new trigger, you click Triggers at the top. Give the trigger a name. So the name we use here is All Users. Maybe for a description, we'll put, this is for all Operator Connect user changes. So for event, there's a ton of actual different events for triggers that you can use. For this one, we'll use user changed in TCAP. Change was submitted for a user. We use as an action an email, or we can actually use webhook. Email is the most preferred, so we'll just add our email addresses. We'll add an email, and then we'll do another one. We can add as many as we'd like for the email addresses that this trigger will email. Subject, we can put what the subject pertains to, such as Fusion user change. For the body, this is what's going to be in the body of your email. So this, we can actually put, this trigger is showing, and then over here, we can actually put in maybe a display name. It'll show the display name of the user that's being changed. You may want to space this out so it's actually showing in the email as a space. So we can maybe put prior config. So we'll do the original as JSON. Then we can enter a new config change. And then from here, we can say new. Okay, so prior configuration is going to show what's existing before the change and then what's happening after the change. And last, maybe we want to put the trigger ID, the number of the actual trigger on the bottom. Or we could actually maybe choose trigger name. These options are totally available for you to pick and choose and to be put into the body of your actual email. Once you have your trigger configured, click Add and Enable. Once added and enabled, you will see the actual trigger here listed in the actual trigger name, All Users. This is for Operator Connect user changes. This is the one we just created. So if anything pertaining to any user change takes place, this trigger will fire. As an example, we have a test trigger here. So once you have a trigger, you can edit it by hitting its pencil, edit its options, edit the email address, etc. that you want to go to. You can also see the trigger history, and you can also copy that trigger. So viewing the trigger history, it will give you the history of that particular trigger. From here, you can actually refire that trigger at any time. Rather than making a change, if you want to see this trigger email the recipients, click Refire. Trigger history will note that it's been refired and it's been emailed. So this is a trigger showing user 9. You can see the prior configuration and the new configuration change. So in this prior configuration, the user had a telephone number. We disabled that number, so now they do not. And that email again is sent to everyone within that specific trigger. This concludes this training video. Thank you for joining.